It's time for Who Watch. Time and relative blackness in space.
The black girls have the box.
Hi everyone, it's DJ and Nicole coming to you live from the Time Vortex. Today we're discussing the second of three 60th anniversary specials, Wild Blue Yonder. The official description is, the TARDIS takes the Doctor and Donna to the furthest edge of adventure. To escape, they must face the most desperate fight of their lives with the fate of the universe at stake. So let's get into it.
This episode was written by returning showrunner Russell T. Davies and directed by Tom Kingsley. DJ is going to give you the breakdown of what happened.
Right, so we get like a very brief stop in England, 1666, where we get to see Isaac Newton for some reason, just for fun, I guess, to set up the running joke of the episode with gravity being mavity. The Doctor tries to calibrate the TARDIS. It doesn't work, and they crash land on what they suspect is a spaceship with the TARDIS in need of complete repair. We get some commentary on the TARDIS playing Wild Blue Yonder, which I do want to come back to in the discussion because I made a note about it when it was playing, and then Donna commented on it. It was a whole thing. But basically, the TARDIS it begins repairs and then disappears. It runs away because it senses danger on the premises, and the Doctor and Donna are left to figure out what that danger is. The ship that they're on at first seems empty, except for an old robot that responds to the occasional single word command. They can't really understand what's happening. Obviously, the ship is not empty, and after doing some digging in the computer system, they learn that they are, one, at the edge of the universe, and that the only recent activity in this ship is an airlock opening and closing 3 years ago. We do eventually run into the villains of the episode, which are, quote, not things from beyond our universe. And the not things are attempting to become copies of the Doctor and Donna so that they can get the TARDIS to come back and use the TARDIS to enter the universe and cause havoc. The Doctor and Donna figure out that the ship's captain knew about this plan and was trying to prevent them from being able to do that exact thing. And so the ship's captain had previously made the sacrifice to kill herself so that they couldn't become copies of her and re-enter the universe that way. And then also set a bomb to go off to kind of completely eliminate them. The Doctor speeds up the timer for the bomb, and of course the TARDIS swoops in at the last minute. They are able to escape and return to London, where we finally get to see Wilf. But then we see that there's the chaos happening. We don't really know what's going on. Wilf says that the world is coming to an end, and that is how the episode closes. So next episode will be starting with the same amount of chaos that this one did, is what we know.
Yeah. So you said you had a point or a thought about the Wild Blue Yonder song. I do not recognize the song. I was like, that's cute. That is not something that was put in my life. So talk about it. Let's get into that.
Well, my just small note was we're getting into the American military propaganda from Jump, which is Disney's bag, they do the thing where they have all the the superhero movies now and all these different characters, and occasionally you'll have a character kind of interrogating the military industrial complex, but at the end of the day, it's still pro it, it's the balance.
They toe that line very much.
Right. So I was Disney. Y'all got the Doctor Who collaboration, and we're just and boom, episode 2. But then because it seemed like it wasn't going to be interrogated at first, and it was just what is happening? But then Donna literally asked the question, why is the TARDIS playing this song? Which is a fair question. And then it's sort of my granddad didn't like the song because it is a war song and not just a kid's song. And the doctor was like, yeah, why would the TARDIS play a war song? And then we never really go back to it. But now I'm wondering if it was also partly a setup for like the third special that's coming, because they go back into some chaos. Or it was just like, we like this name because they're at the edge of the universe, and what, I don't know. I'm just curious about where it came into play, right? Like, did they have the episode name and then they wrote this around it, or was the episode you know what I mean? Like, did the song come first? Did the episode name come first? Did this, like...
Well, so it is actually addressed in the episode, or at least how I took it is because the no things are like, yeah, we just be hearing your loud ass universe. Y'all always starting wars. Y'all want to fight stuff. So we want to go into y'all universe and start some shit. That was the whole premise, right? Like, so the TARDIS playing its own, like, Danger Will Robinson, something going on over here. Like, that's the TARDIS trying to tell you somebody over here trying to start some mess. But I can't be a part of it. So I'm going to go ahead and dip out. Y'all handle it. Y'all be good out here. So I took it very much as that song is kind of analogous to that, though, to the no things, where, like, they say we don't want peace. We want problems, which is literally, that's like what they said. We hear y'all fisticuffs, y'all wars all over this universe. We've been on the edges of it. We want to get in there. We want to really get up in there. We want to get our chance to throw some hands. So I think that's what it was in relation to, like, for the episode. But I do think it also kind of feeds into the larger narrative of, like, whatever's coming, because it definitely gets given Armageddon at the end. But so I think that's what I took from it, not knowing the song, but just like how Donna was describing the song. It's just kind of like, you know, as Black folks in America, we have a couple of songs that's like, you thinking it like this is a bop, the ice cream truck playing the song, but the song actually racist. And so, like, having that dichotomy of something being like childish, but like it normalizes something kind of messed up, like racism, or in this case, it's childish, or like it's a fun song or whatever, but it actually normalizes war, and it's like a war cry. So I thought that's what it was. Again, having no context for the song other than what Donna says in the episode. So that's how I took it. Like, I took it as the no things are who that song or what that song is representing, because of how their relationship to our universe and what they're trying to do once they get up in there, because they said, oh, war, bet. We like that. That's that thing. That's that stuff we do like.
Yeah, that's fair. Like, maybe it was one of those, like, symbols that I didn't know how deep we were supposed to take it, right? So like, I was like, it could just be banter. It could be exactly what you're talking about. It could be a setup for something else. I was just like, I don't know, you know, where y'all want to take this, but it was interesting. And I am just interested in general about if, you know, if the Disney partnership truly is sort of just distribution, or if there will be more like American things that pop up in different places. So yeah, I'm just interested to see how that plays out moving forward, because it felt very like, oh, I mean, I'm sure there's like a British song with the same themes, right? Maybe not.
I mean, I genuinely could not say, because I did not know. I have never heard this.
Yeah.
Like, I was
no,
like,
they started singing and it was like, yeah, that's the Air Force.
Ain't got nothing to do with me. Right. I was like, this ain't got nothing to do with me. But I also was like, initially when she's describing it, before we get into the episode, I'm also thinking, like, this is clearly a warship. Like, they are on some type of vessel that carries soldiers. Like, that's just where my mind went.
It was real suspicious.
It looked like, you know, like a big carrier. I'm like, oh, they're gonna get out there, it's gonna be fighter jets, it's gonna be problems. But it's like, we get the ship that has already, like, all the people are already off the ship, so we don't really know how it functions. But it, you know, it could be that too. So I think it was multiple levels to that part. And so this is not even a rant and rave. I was like, we could just jump right to rants and raves. I don't know if this is a rant and rave or whatever it is. It's just a part of it, but I thought it was fun. I want to say the first 2 episodes so far have had really funny, like, me laughing out loud moments. So when they land in 1666 and we see, like, I'm like, I don't know who this is supposed to be, because, you know, he brown first and foremost. I'm like, I don't know who this is, but he's
okay, it wasn't just me, right?
Bundles McGee.
Like,
yes, come through. No, because I recognized him as an actor. Like, so I was like, oh, this is not that. Right. Like, now look, he ain't. I don't know. Here's the thing, too. This made me interrogate myself. This made me interrogate myself. I'm like, I actually could not tell you what Noon is. I don't know nothing about that man, except he sat under a tree and the apple fell. He said, oh, it's giving gravity. So I was like, wait, this is kind of a cool moment.
Actually.
Right. Okay. And that's what I'm about to say, because that shit, I'm sorry, I was dying. I was dying because this is my quote from the TARDIS. But when I say I laughed out loud, because I like, you know, you feel it in your bones, like something they finna do it. And of course, Donna was like, we gotta do it. You can appreciate. He like, no, we're not gonna do it. She like, you can appreciate. And he like, we're not gonna do that. We ain't gonna do it, but he had to do it to him. So it's like, of course, you can appreciate the gravity of the situation. I was sitting here laughing, so I was cackling. I'm just like, hey, it literally popped in my head. And so the fact that was written in there, I was like, cool, we on the same page. Our humans in the same place right now. So it was just really funny. But I also love that they kept that man. I was like, he said Mavity, and I was like, oh, okay, that's gonna be a throwaway. And then they said it like 3 times. And then the doctor's like, wait, like later in the show or like later in the episode, it's like, wait, gravity? Wait a minute. Like, it's like now recognizing that they might have messed with something, but it didn't connect right away.
But it was so funny because I love it. He recognized it and then was like, I got other shit to deal with, right? Like, he was like, we can't even handle that right now.
Right. It's like, once he realized, like, something ain't right about this, but I can't, this is not, we gotta circle back. I thought that was really funny. So, like, the first 2 episodes had moments that were just funny. Like, he just laugh out loud funny that are like unrelated to the story or whatever. It was just funny. That was like the beginning of the episode. So I'm already having me a good cackle. So I like how like both episodes, I feel like set the tone for you to kind of go in and kind of like, you know what I mean? Like you chilling, you just had your little laugh so you ain't as on edge, which in this episode is kind of a gotcha because it gets increasingly more horror related. Now, granted, I love horror, I love suspense, I love spooky, creepy, whatever. So I was livid, but I can see how somebody who does not like those elements are like, no, let's do less of this. So I'm wondering, because you are a part of the Winnie Hut Jr. Contingency. How did you feel about the kind of creepier elements, or like how did that read to you? Because for me, I was like, oh, this is very fun. But there was a point where I was like, oh, this might be where people get lost. They might lose them here. But I was like, I'm loving it.
No, I mean, I thought it was a good balance, right? So yeah, I don't hate suspense. I don't like stuff that feels like it could happen in real life, which this did not because of the absurdity of it. So I was able to like have that distance. And I really loved the like who's who moments. I thought that was well done. And it was a good way to show it, to like give us more background on the doctor, right? And on Donna too. But like I think the doctor, especially maybe for folks that are like jumping in at this point or whatever, you get to see some of the stuff he's concerned about, or like some of the things he lets himself get upset about. So yeah, it was definitely, I wasn't sure where it was going in the beginning and kind of how much it would lean into the horror. But once I kind of got calibrated, I was like, okay, I can work with this. Like I can work with the like inflatable body situation we've got going here. It's not like something gruesome or, ridiculously terrifying. Some of the episodes do go there, but I thought that this one was a good balance. I don't think it will scare too many people off.
Yeah. So I feel like we're going to go right into the rants and raves, just because all of the things are like pretty much, that's where it's like mostly raves. So we might as well just jump right into that. Yeah. So for me, this reminded me of my favorite episode, which is Midnight. Midnight is my girl. Midnight is my, like, I put it on. I love it every time. I have never been let down by it because it's one of those things. And what makes Midnight so good, one of the things is like, it's like closed, they're in a box. It's like only so many people. So it's all character. It's all like, there is no external element. I mean, it is, but it's like, we're not watching that. We're watching the people react to that thing. Right. So I love those kind of episodes. I like what it reveals about the characters. And in this case, we have even fewer characters. We just have the Doctor and we have Donna. And then we have the no things. But they are actually reflections of the Doctor and Donna because they are, while they're becoming them and like trying to push them to learn more about them, right? So they scare them, but to scare them, they have to also kind of know about them, if that makes sense. Like, so it's like they're putting mirrors up against these people and like we're watching them react to it in real time. So I love, like you said, what it reveals about the Doctor, like what his internal like psyche is looking like right now, because we, it's been back to back and like in universe, they haven't had that much time, or we don't really know, but it's like they haven't had that much time to like process all the stuff we have, you know, that experience in Flux. And like like what was revealed in Flux, and now this has been acknowledged in the show. So we now know that, like, yes, Russell T Davies is going to either continue that story or is going to inform the iteration of the Doctor that they're bringing. And I love that. That was one of the raves. Is like, I love that they are now addressing, like, directly addressing Flux, what happened, how it might affect the Doctor. So I love this episode. It reminds me of Midnight. It reminds me of, like, you just having to deal with your own nature and the nature of people. Like, you really just, it's back and forth. But, like, obviously Donna wasn't in Midnight in terms of, like, being a part of the experience. Like, she was over having a little, having her little spot moment. She was chilling. She was living life. And I love that for her. But I also love to now see her in a situation that's similar to that, where it's just kind of like, you against a thing you don't quite understand. You don't know what it is. You don't know what it wants. You don't know how it moves. You are learning as you go. But playing off a Tenet with that, oh my goodness. Them back and forth, playing off each other, but also playing, like, off themselves is, like, really, it was just really fun. It was like, they did so many fun things where it was like, you truly, it was times where you're like, oh, that's obviously the fake. But then there are moments you're like, wait. And that's the point. That's the point. And I thought they did it so well, and they played it so well. And I think if you was to rewatch it, knowing who was who at different times, you would notice the changes in their behavior, the slight changes more, because you know which one is the real one, right?
Because the end kind of got me. Because I thought that the no things answer was Donna. Like, I was thinking, oh, that's Donna when the Doctor picked her. And then when Donna started screaming and crying, I was like, oh my God.
Right. And I love that, because that is exactly, I love that they didn't make it where, like, they basically are showing you that these things can copy to such a degree. Like he said, it's like an actual number, 99.9 or whatever, but with, like, one little piece of, like, centimeter off on the wrist or something. Like, something that was only noticeable because he had time to come into the TARDIS and, like, scan it, right? He wouldn't have got that from them, the answers, because she had already become, or whatever, they had already become Donna. Like, so I love that there was that chance that, like, you really brought the wrong. I'm just glad it obviously got resolved, but, like, I thought that was, because I was like, I don't know, like, that answer, I was like, that sounds like the real Donna answer, but I was like, something tells me this is not the real Donna. And of course, we see immediately, like, oh shit. But I thought, I love what that meant, and I love what that, like, I like things that leave you where you are like, they could be out here. Like, these are the no things that didn't get into our universe. What about the no things that did, right? Like, are you thinking about it? And, like, how these type of creatures, or, like, whatever, might show up in different ways. I don't know. It was very fun. But yeah, I was like, oh, and Catherine, she had to do on that part, because I was like, oh, this is, Donna is always playing very brash and very, like, over the top, but, like, fun, whatever. But, like, when she gets in that emotional bag, she goes for it, and I love it every time. But I really was like, okay, please get my sense. Don't do it. Like, I was like, we did not drop the no thing. All right, technically, you could take the no thing and take them, and nobody would be none the wiser. Well, they would, because the no things that I'm about to start crying. So Donna coming out with the blam blam would be very, like, okay, she does like a touch of violence, but it's giving something different. Like, they would figure it out.
Doctor, what the hell did you do?
Like, what did you do to my, you know what I mean? Like, what did you do to my person? Like, so I just thought it was really, I love that they had that moment of, like, he cannot guess, because that's how close it was. And that makes you also think about how close it was for him, right? Like, the other one was doing the same thing with him. Imagine that, somebody with, like, the Doctor's essence, but with that type of violent intent. Like, you think the Master is bad, baby. Whatever version of the Doctor that thing, like the no thing would have been something they would have, the Bridget would have had to get back in action. I just love these kind of, like, episodes that, like, reflect the characters and put a mirror up to them and make them kind of just face themselves in a way. And, like, again, like, what it reveals about the characters, what they think about, how they really feel, or how they really act when they have, like, you have nothing to hang on to. They vibing. They don't have nothing. They don't have the TARDIS. They don't have a screwdriver. It's like, you just have to be in that moment. So I was loving that. I was like, this is like the new Midnight in terms of how it's very much, like, about the characters. And it was like, that's 90% of it is just them. But I do not like this. I found a rant. What I do not like is that we do get a moment of vulnerability from the doctor. And I love that as the audience because we get that moment. But I hate that Donna, the real Donna, does not get that moment. Like, even though that moment was not allowed for Donna Prime, I like that he opened the door to have the conversation. If Donna had the same level of access to the memories as the note thing did and was like, oh, did you remember it? Because if she would have been like, yeah, actually, but I didn't want to bring it up. I like the idea that they would have had that conversation had, you know, she remembered. I do believe Donna was like, it's a lot of information here and I'm not about to go through and try to process it because that's your business. That's who Donna is. Donna's like, they ain't got nothing to do with me. Or that's how I interpret her, at least when it comes to stuff like that. Like, she cares about you, but she's not about to put herself inside of your emotional state. Like, that's not who. I'm not about to do all that.
Yeah, especially because at that moment, again, they had like other stuff going on. It's like we literally don't have time for this, which stinks because she might have gotten the glimpse and then sort of not been able to make more sense of it.
Right.
I also thought that like Tennant's acting was really great in that whole scene too. Like the figuring, like realizing that it was the not thing he was talking to, and like there was anger at the thing and anger at himself and anger just in general at like the bullshit of it all.
Right.
It was a good moment.
Yeah.
Oh, the doctor's going through it.
No, yeah, I like, again, that's what I like about these kind of where it's just like two people playing off each other, because then you get to see that much more clearly. Like, they're always acting, they're always like going in. So we really get to see them like pull it out. Like, we really get to see those moments. And then it does, even with like 14 saying to the no thing, like, I know my faces. I know what like that means. He does have enough faces. Like, even as an audience watching, you know, the show, it's like you do learn his faces. And we like, oh, the doctor going through something, right? Like, you know this because he's a good actor, but I like that. Like, it also works in universe. It's like, oh, baby, you don't know what the hell going on because I know what that face means. So I thought that was good. Yeah, I love what this episode allows for these actors, because they really was like, they got to do like the gamut of like funny and like humor and like, and then they have like the real deep emotional moments, and it's like that was really well, because I go from a cat and I'm like, oh, then I'm like, okay. Like, it was real fun. And also this is either a rant or a rave, depending. I'm jumping all over this agenda, by the way, but it's because these things kind of melt together.
Yeah.
So one of my quotes from the TARDIS is Donna's like, oh, was it me or was Sir Isaac Newton hot? And then the doctor is like, yeah, he was hot. Oh, is this who I am now? And then Donna makes a comment of like, it was always there under the surface. And so that can play multiple ways. Because for me, it definitely played like, oh, you were definitely giving queer, but I didn't want to say nothing, which is a perfectly acceptable read in the way I would take it. Or it could just mean like the type of person who would say that, like like you have always been just this shy of being that kind of person. I don't know. I took it as like a comment on queerness.
Me too.
Because it feels like it's aligned with what the story has been trying to do anyway, in terms of just like normalizing and like acclimatizing people to the idea of just like queerness being a normal kind of experience for people, which it is. So I thought it was cute, but I also was like, I kind of want y'all to say it with your chest if you're gonna say it. It's one of those things. Because I also like, I am a queer person, right? We always can find these things and these nods. My question is whether a straight person is gonna have that same read, right? Whether a person who is not queer does not really look for that, are they gonna read it that way? Because if not, I kind of don't, I want them to come away from it like, oh, is the doctor doing the thing? But I don't know. So I guess we'll have to wait and straight how that landed for them.
Yeah. Like summon Jerome upstairs.
Right.
Your straight man opinion here.
No, we might have to do a follow-up on just like the straight opinion on these things. The in community, if it's, you know what I mean? Like, so it's one of those things. So yeah, I love it as a moment. Like, it's just a funny little key moment, but I also love it in terms of like Donna would say. Like, that's something very Donna character-wise. Like, that's something Donna would definitely say. And so It feels good to have them act the way you think they would act in that moment.
I'm trying to remember if did Donna have interactions with the Master and the Doctor together?
No. But can you imagine? Because she's like, wait a minute.
I don't think, but I was like, those moments to me have, again, always read as complicated.
See, that's the thing, too.
Overtly queer.
No, it's always been kind of, I would say that, and I can't speak for classic, even though in the classic, I'm also like, do y'all know? Are y'all aware? Because I think it definitely has, but it kind of, it's a two-part thing. It kind of goes back to that kind of queer coding of villain thing. So the Master always exudes a certain level of,
but I think the Doctor's response that way. To him too.
But I'm about to say, but it's returned in kind. So it does not feel all the time like, oh, my best friend that like turned on me. It definitely gives jilted lover more than the other thing, more often than not. And I'm like, y'all gotta deal with this. Like, I need y'all to have a conversation about this on screen because it is given. But I'll kind of, again, I love the concept or the idea that it is a non-thing. So they would never feel the need to define it as romantic or friendly because that's not important culturally for where they are, right? And like, since the Doctor don't tell nobody their business unless it's absolutely necessary, they wouldn't be like, oh, as a human, you would see it as this, but we don't see it that way. It just doesn't get addressed. But I like to think that it's given levels. It's like homie, lover, friend. And that's why it's extra hurtful when the Master be doing that stuff. Because it's like, you, my friend, we was raised together, but also, we didn't share some moments. We didn't done some things, whatever. But that's just my read. But I do like that moment. We got to go talk. We got to do a survey of the heterosexuals, the cishet, and we got to say, excuse me, did you hear the comment and what was conveyed to you? Because for me, I was like, oh yeah, she sees it.
Yeah, I wondered also if it was like a setup for 15. I was like, ooh, are we gonna get? Which it doesn't have to be. It can also be like that moment, and it's just that, and I love that too. But I was like, oh, will there be some interesting companions or like folks we come across for the next Doctor we have coming based on this,
right? Who Watch, Time and Relative Blackness in Space is brought to you by Black Nerds Create, a collective providing content through the lens of critical and creative fandom. Want to dive even deeper into Doctor Who with us? Become a BNC baddie at patreon.com/Black Nerds Create, and you'll get bonus content from TARBIS and all other Black Nerds Create collective projects. Scared of commitment? That's cool. You can drop us a one-time TARBIS tip at blacknerdscreate.com/support. You can learn more about us, explore our content, and connect with our community at blacknerdscreate.com. I have made a point to not keep up with anything coming up. So like, I'm really excited for whatever is about to happen. Because this episode ended with, I was like, I literally screamed, and my mom came in here and was like, what? I was like, holding my face. I was like, it's so weird. She was like, why are you yelling? I'm like, girl, mind your business. It's like, damn, when I need help, you don't come in here, but I'm screaming of happiness. Now you want to be here in my business? Whatever. That's a rant. That's beside the point. The point is, it was loud enough that she was concerned. And she came in here to check on me. And I was like, it's Will. Look at him. Look at my guy. And then like, I immediately flash back to like, oh yes. Because he's in the chair. I'm like, please let him let him get in the TARDIS. And so I was just obviously overwhelmed. I was just like, yay, it's Will. And I loved it for like everything. I loved it for like we getting to see the actor, like we getting to see like the Doctor, get to see Will. Yeah. It's like all the things. I was like, oh, this is so cute. But then also it was just hilarious to me because there's also like a bit of chaos happening in the background. And like they don't address it immediately until it gets really out of hand. But it's just like, oh, that alley looked a little disheveled. Like I'm thinking like, I don't think that's the alley they left because the alley was not looking like that. So that was my first thought. Anyway, I was like, I'm like, why? It looked like it's like the apocalypse. Like, why did it look like this? And then they show it, and we're like, oh, this is happening. Something's going on. So I just thought it was like, again, one of those moments that's like very cute, but also like funny, but also like, what the hell going on here? Beyond it at the very end. When he's like,
yeah, I didn't know.
Get in. I was so happy because I was like, yeah, he can roll in there, and they got like places for him to go. I don't know. I was just very happy about the choice of the TARDIS interior again.
Yeah.
For that. But yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, it's fine. I was gonna say I didn't know if we were supposed to see this connected, because when they were like, when they're in the TARDIS coming back from the edge of the universe, the Doctor makes a comment about like, oh, I shouldn't have invoked this superstition with the salt, and he's like, I have a bad feeling, but the feeling's gone, it's fine. And then again, it was one of those moments where I was like, I don't know how much we're supposed to hold on to it, but then they get back to the Earth and everything is straight up chaos, and I'm like, if this is in some way connected to the salt thing, I'm going to be delighted in the next episode to see how that ripples, or maybe it's something that'll come later. But yeah, I don't know, the piecing together of this episode was like really interesting, and the different things that they wove in that made it just fun and random, and also just did a lot with with the two characters, or the two actors on board.
Yeah, I just really love when we get to see them like just act, like have fun, because like you could tell David Tennant having a damn time in his life, which is like always fun to watch as a person. Like you just like to know that people are enjoying the thing they're making. And I made a note. I was like, oh, this robot, circling back real way early. I was like, this robot is so cute. It's probably dangerous. Because, of course, but the robot actually ended up being a real one. So I just want to say shout out to Jimbo, because I thought it was going to become a Terminator or something. I'm like, of course, it's a cute robot, and using previous cuteness as a disarming mechanism. They never had you. They never had you fooled, not once. The whole, like, I really wish y'all could see. Like, maybe we should like take it. I might screenshot this and on the Patreon or something. It was so funny because I'm like reading the comments, and you were just like, I don't like this thing. Nah, it ain't cute. It ain't cute. It's something going on. I was like, dang, you never like let your guard down, not once. So it's just funny. So I was doing the same thing with the robot. I was like, I gotta go against my better instincts. Like, I see the cute little robot. I'm like, look at that robot. Look at that adorable robot. He all around. He looks all safe. I'm like, yeah, it's probably gonna turn into a Terminator or something, because I'm over here like being distracted by the fact that it's adorable. But it actually ended up just, doing the job slowly. Like, respect to him, because he got there eventually. It was like, I'm press this button and y'all be good out here. Oh, it was fun. That was cute. But yeah, I genuinely don't know what's happening next, so I cannot speak at all to what is.
Well, I was. Oh yeah. No, I think that comment was mostly about the salt thing, and then the queerness that we already talked about.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna ask about the other quotes you have here, though, about the not things. Like, if there was something, specific you were thinking about just in their naming.
I just thought it was interesting, right? Because it was just like, we came from nothing. We are not things. And it was like bars. I don't know. I think I just was like, something about that. Like, we are not things. But also, like, if you take it to a different level, it's like, we are not things. We are people. Or, you know what I mean? Like, we have consciousness. So you are not things, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? So I thought it was like multiple levels to it. It's like, yeah, we're not things because we came from nothing, but they are something. That's what I like. That's how I took it, right? So, like, I'm not a thing. You're not a thing. You're a person. You are like a living, breathing soul. And I think that's what they might not have been saying that deliberately, or that not have been their point, but I think that was the overall message. Is like, they are a consciousness, that they have like life. They are living beings. So they are not things. They are people. But like, also, talk shit, get hit. So unfortunately, like, y'all was bringing nothing but hostility and violence to the whole situation. So next round,
also,
like, your homies don't do that, and we might let y'all come to the universe. If you come to the universe,
if you had a little bit of chill, just a little bit.
Like, you could at least lie. Like, oh, we just want to see that. We just want to see the universe. We ain't trying to start nothing. We just want to see. We only took y'all farm because y'all the only people around here.
No.
We ain't trying to. No, they said no. We want to start some shit. We would like to create havoc, cause harm. Like
I'm like picturing someone at customs, like filling out the form.
Like you just, unfortunately, that's just not. That might be true of many people in the world, but most of us have a good sense to not say it. Okay, we just walk around, we living our lives, and then you choose violence in that moment. Y'all like planning violence. Y'all got violence on the board. Okay, it's your little like pin board of like all the different ways you're gonna create problems. Like that's just not gonna work. But I do respect you and like acknowledge you as a living being that deserves to be treated like a living being. But sometimes living beings do be having to go because they be causing problems. I was really like, why are y'all doing? And I kind of thought, and I'm kind of glad they didn't, but I kind of thought it was gonna be like a talk down situation. Like they're gonna, the more they become the Dr. Donna, the more empathy. But I like how they was like doubling down, like, oh, I'm extra gonna cause problems now. I didn't got that second layer of brain. The no thing taking the doctor's memories always knows, as we've had the conversation, everything that happened in flux. Lady that took you out from a whole different universe and used you, abused you, confused you, and left you out here. I know you bad as hell. So we wanted to cause violence, but now that we got y'all memories, violence is happening for sure. Because obviously both the doctor and Donna have experienced things that, like, if you have only a certain framework, they like, that seems like something that should be met with a little bit of violence, right? Like if you take those things away from like the emotional, like in the empathy, there were just a lot of fucked up things went down that if I'm like a hostile creature or being, whatever, and I see that in somebody's brain, I'm like, oh, ain't nothing to do with this, but fight. Like ain't nothing else to do. So I thought it was fun that like they don't change their mind, and then if anything, they're probably more emboldened by the doctor's memory because the doctor and them been through some things, and they like, oh, we can go to this universe and cause problems because clearly they out here doing all kind of stuff over there. So
yeah,
I love that. I thought it was so interesting. And I think it's one of those episodes that like you watch it and you're gonna pay attention to different things because you're gonna be like, okay, this is not the doctor. So like, what is different about this performance or what they're saying? Or like, what can I pick out to like note that this isn't the doctor? Because I think it was there. There was a few times where I was like clued in, like, oh yeah, that's definitely the not right one. But it was you wasn't sure.
Well, I knew in the beginning. I was like, I've been watching this show for too long because the second it got cold and not thing doctor walked in there, I was like, that ain't him. I don't know what.
I honestly didn't know. I was like, oh, it got cold. And I was just chilling. I wasn't thinking about it. And they started talking. But I was like, Donna ain't Donna somehow. I don't know what I thought happened. Like, I really don't know what I thought was going on, which is cool because I was just chilling. I was watching it. For some reason, I was like, they both slipped into a place where, like, I thought it was like, I'm not in a happy way, but I was like, oh, they both experiencing what they would like to experience. If that makes sense. Like the Donna getting the doctor to open up, then the doctor getting to talk to Donna about and I'm like, oh, no, it's actual physical beings there messing with them. I thought it was like internal. That's what I'm trying to say. No, I thought they were both.
I wondered about that.
Like, too. I was like, did they die? Or are they like, did they get taken out, put in like cryo sleep or something? And they dreaming? Because I'm like, in cold cryo. I went so far. Russell, you can have these ideas because clearly I was on 2000 and late with it. Yeah, no. So I thought they would sleep. I don't know why. I was like, oh, they passed out. That's why the ship empty because everybody in like pods.
I thought,
girl, I don't know what.
Hallucinating something. I was like, I don't know what it is.
I was like, oh, it got cold. I said, they didn't pass out. They in cryo sleep. I went straight to cold. Like, they are out. They are out. Like, I'm like, that's why they just have being frank. Which, I mean, I like that I was wrong. Like, I like that it was, they were just literally being doppelganged right here. Like, which is wild. Because why are you here doppelganging people? Also, the fact that they don't register as life, but also, like, how would the ship know? The ship ain't never met such things. The ship is like, ain't nobody alive. I don't know to tell you. They like, period. We right here though. Like chilling. Literally chilling. So yeah, I think I was like, oh, they hallucinate. Or like they are not, I really thought they was like sleep or something. I'm like, I don't know how it happened. They're gonna run it back and show the moment they fell asleep and it started being the dream. I was so ready for it to be extra. And it was actually basic when you really think about it, which I love. I was thinking on Moffat levels, he ain't got contractions and shenanigans. It was very simple. Like, no, they're just copying people. It's just very much Cuban Kinkos. You know what I mean? Like, that's what it was.
Oh my gosh.
No, but I was just like, okay. But I love it. I like, I'm kind of enjoying the fact that things are kind of straightforward, if that makes sense. I thought Chip was straightforward too. But like, I don't know. It was less fantastical, if that makes sense. This is like striking the right balance of being fantastical but straightforward. Like, it's like a lot going on, but it's all it makes perfect sense in this situation, but it's still, like you said, does not feel real, like based in reality in the same way. Like, Chip felt kind of very grounded, which I like, but I like it when it's kind of mixed and matched with the real, like, out of there. And we didn't go out there too much. And then when we went out there, we went too damn out there. We was out of there, like, we doing like the flux and all that. I love the flux, but it was a lot to have packed in after we've been kind of chilling for like a couple years. You know what I mean? Like, we chilling. Then it's like bam, bam, bam. This one is like a nice little balance of like, you get the bam, bam, but you also get the like just very chill, straightforward story. But again, this is not new information, but like the RTD era, the first one was my era. I like character. I like that. I think that he's one of those writers that's very good at character. So even if the story is boring or if like the setting or whatever doesn't really speak to you, which, you know, sometimes they are places you do not care about, right? But you care about the characters enough that you are pulled into it. That's why Midnight is one of my favorites, is because it's all these people, right? And I can describe all the people in that place to a T because they are just so fully fleshed out, even though we only are with them for like 30 minutes. You know what I mean? So I love that. I like that was recreated with this, but it's even fewer people. So it's like we really get to see them. But yeah, like, I'm excited about how all that is going to inform whatever happens next, because now they're back on Earth. And when things are on Earth, it's always chicanery. So we'll see.
My only thought on the, like, not my only thought, like, you shared a lot that I agree with. When you were talking, I was thinking about how with the not things, they have this, you know, it's sort of proposing that even when entities, I guess, or things that
I think entities
there's like
work.
A desire, right? Like,
right.
I think they could have been not things on the edge of the universe receiving these images or whatever from what's happening deeper in, and just sort of been like, what, I don't care. Like, you know, like, what does that have to do? Like, they could have just been like unmoved, I guess, or unresponsive to it. They could just existed floating. But no, like, they're the sort of through hearing and seeing those glimpses, they have this like interest and this desire to like know more and go deeper. And I do think that is an interesting thing to like think about and play with, just in general, especially coming out of Flux with the destruction.
No, exactly. I just feel like the potential of like you said, like, I just like the idea that there are more no things out in the universe, on the edges, on the fringes, and they are all receiving the same kind of glimpses, but like how they react to that or what they take from it. I think it'd be fun to like revisit, because it doesn't it can look like anything like that. They chose the way that they they engaged with their, you know, the people or whatever that they came across, but nothing might be like, them human bodies looking a little feeble. Let's be this, let's do that, or whatever. I don't know. I just think it's fun. Like, to me, I would like to see people play with that. And like, not that I read fan fiction, I'm not going to sit here and lie, but like, if I would like to know that it exists. So if you know somebody messing around with the no things in the fanfic, you can think about it. Now,
I read the fan fiction. Share it with me, please.
Like, I don't want to be like, I always want to, I don't know. Fan fiction is tricky for me because I'm just like, if I like it too much, then I have to watch the regular show, and then I'm like be disappointed like that the show ain't doing it like this. I don't want to have like fan fiction for stuff that's over that they're not doing no more, maybe, but like when it's ongoing, I can't do that to myself. But yeah, let the people know where they can find us.
You can find us at blacknerdscreate.com and on the site formerly known as Twitter at BLKNerdsCreate. Talk to us on all socials using the hashtag TARBIS and let us know what you think about Wild Blue Yonder. If you enjoy what you heard, drop us a TARBIS tip over at blacknerdscreate.com/support. All tips and subscriptions help us keep our TARBIS instruments calibrated and our sonic screwdrivers charged.
Thanks for listening. We'll be back next week for the third and final, I guess, 60th anniversary special, The Giggle. Ooh, ominous.
Yeah, the name. Let's go.
Oh, like we gonna be on something. We gonna be on something. The Giggle. Can't
Bye,
wait.
y'all.
Bye.